Well, that takes us to John Wesley Hardin and people like him who had never served in the Civil War.
No.
See, he was only 7 when it began and 12 when it ended, but it didn't mean he escaped its influence. Hardin represented the generation raised inside the conflict and released into the violence that followed it. Born in Bonham, Texas, May 26, 1853, he was the son of James Gibson Hardin, a Methodist preacher, a teacher, a lawyer, a slaveholder, and plus a strong supporter of the old Confederates. John, he grew up hearing the Southern cause defended from the pulpit and inside his own home.
Oh, wow.
He watched Texas send men to war. Endure Confederate defeat, and then enter Reconstruction under federal military authority.
Oh, wow.
Formerly enslaved people gained freedom and political rights. Federal troops remained in the state, and a new Texas state police force attempted to reinforce Reconstruction laws.
Yeah, good luck.
Many white former Confederates viewed those changes as foreign rule imposed by armed occupiers. Fuck you, Texas, dude. You guys have not changed your
Right.
views for over 150 years, dude.
No.
Political resistance, racial hatred, personal feuds, and ordinary crime became tangled together, creating exactly the kind of world in which a violent young man could imagine himself as both a fugitive and a defender of his community. Hardin's violent career began with a schoolyard fight in 1867 when he stabbed another boy.
Ooh.
The following year, at age 15, he shot and killed a formerly enslaved man named Mage.
Oh.
Hardin, he later claimed Mage had attacked him with a stick after an earlier wrestling match and that he fired in self-defense. Regardless if that happened or not, Hardin knew that Reconstruction authorities would pursue him, so he fled rather than face an investigation.
Right.
He later claimed that 3 Union soldiers came after him and that he ambushed and killed all 3.
Oh, okay.
No independent evidence confirms the story, and much of what is known about Hardin's early life comes from the autobiography he wrote years later while trying to defend his reputation. Even when the individual details can't be trusted, the way Hardin told the story is pretty revealing.
Right.
He cast himself as a Southern boy hunted by federal soldiers and Reconstruction authorities, turning the killing that made him a fugitive into another chapter of the Confederacy's unfinished struggle.
Right.
But what about them?
Right.
Hardin continued killing as he moved through Texas, worked cattle drives, gambled, and attached himself to armed relatives and allies. His reputation brought protection in communities where former Confederates distrusted the state police, federal troops, and the Republican officials pursuing him.
All right.
He became involved with the Taylor side of the Sutton-Taylor feud, another conflict in which family revenge and Reconstruction politics fed years of murder. 1871, he drove cattle north to Abilene, where he encountered the old famous Wild Bill Hickok.
Nice.
Hardin, he later claimed he once got the drop on Hickok by spinning his pistols into fire position while surrendering them. But Hardin was the only source for that famous story, and he wrote it after Hickok was dead.
Yeah, I bet he did.
What can be established that the two men did know each other, and Hickok tolerated Hardin until another killing forced him to flee Abilene.
Right.
So when he shot the guy snoring,
Yeah.
and then he was like, if Wild Bill catches me with my pants down, he'll kill me on the spot.
He sure will.
He was scared of Wild Bill.
He was scared.
He loved him, too.
Yeah.
Hardin had now entered the same cattle town world, occupied by Civil War veterans such as Hickok, Ben Thompson, Texas Jack, but he arrived as something different. They carried the military experience into the West. Hardin, he carried the political anger, racial violence, and resistance to authority produced by the war's aftermath.
All right.
His fight, it continued till May 1874 when he killed Deputy Sheriff Charles Webb in Comanche, Texas. That murder created such an outrage that several of Hardin's relatives and allies were arrested or lynched, while Hardin himself escaped with his wife and children and hid under an assumed name in Florida. Texas Rangers, they finally found him aboard a train in Pensacola, August of 1877. Ranger John B. Armstrong and the officers with him confronted Hardin as he attempted to draw a pistol, subdued him, and returned him back to Texas.
Damn right.
He was convicted of Webb's murder, sentenced to 25 years in prison.
Damn.
During his confinement, Hardin studied law, taught Sunday school, and attempted to rebuild himself as an educated and reformed man.
All right.
He was released 1894 after serving nearly 17 years.
That's nice.
Received a pardon, passed the bar, and tried to establish a legal practice. Transformation didn't last. He then moved to El Paso, returned to gambling and drinking, became involved in another dispute surrounding a woman connected to one of his clients. August 1895, Constable John Selman entered the Acme Saloon and shot Hardin in the back of the head.
Oh, man.
Hardin was 42. Damn. The story expands the connection between the Civil War and the Wild West beyond the veterans who wore the uniforms.
Damn.
He inherited a defeated Confederate identity, hatred of Reconstruction authority, and a culture that allowed personal violence to be described as political resistance.
Right.
The old Civil War didn't teach John Wesley Hardin how to fight on a battlefield, but it did give him the broken and bitter world in which he learned to kill. Good Lord.
Poor guy.